you are good to go.
Yeah. Okay. We also have a good number of people now, so then I think we can start. So welcome everyone to the CHESS 2020 Rump Session. I'll also leave out all the mandatory Corona things about it being virtual. You can see it's virtual. And I will actually start this presentation with mentioning the Red Thread game, since it will be, let's say, relevant for the remainder of my slides. So the Red Thread game is a sort of scavenger hunt, except that we won't be finding things in your house or around your garden or anything, but hidden things can be found during the talks you will see and on the videos of the presenter screens. As well as on the videos of the chairs, but I have to highlight here not of the participants, because this would be a very easy attack on this game, and we're not allowing that. So what can you find? You can find some hidden pictures, you can find in the text of people, you can find quotes, you might even find some nice hats or clothing items on people. And of course, it's not very random. There's a Google form of which the link is on the screen, but Gustavo can also throw it in the Zoom chat. It can also be found on the Zulip chat, and it lists, I think now, 42 items that you could find, of which there, excuse me, of which there are only 21 actually found in the talks. So you have to figure out which ones they are, check the ones you discover, and possibly as little as possible the ones that are not actually there, since you get minus points for it. And if you find the most, you win the eternal glory. So the rules are also in the Google form, so you can reread them and join later, but you might have missed some items. So some further guidelines: the lead, which will be me, it's also in the next slide, is always right. Please stay in your allotted time, since otherwise the timekeeper will start being annoying. I heard he's brought a guitar, so that will be mighty annoying. And other than that, please keep muted so everyone can be heard clearly, unless the hall monitor tells you can unmute, or you can ask questions on the Zoom or Zulip chat. And other than that, just grab a drink and have fun. So who is the lead? That's me. My name is Christina van Vredendaal. I am Dutch, and therefore I am the lead because I like to enforce cheesy rules. I also am a great fan of colored things, anything colored. Then we have the timekeeper. He is Alessandro Amadori, the one with the forbidden pineapple in the background. He is Italian, and therefore he's an excellent timekeeper, as is well known about Italians. And he dislikes pineapple and wants me to say that's just on pizza, but I think he's just a general hater of pineapples. Then we have the hall monitor, that's Gustavo Banegas, also present. He is Mexican and therefore is an excellent monitor of, well, generally walls, but no, he's the hall monitor. And he claims to actually be from Brazil, but we don't really believe that. And yeah, that's it. So let the games begin. So I'll introduce the first speaker, which is the program chairs report by Amira Mehdi. So you can share if you want. I think you're on mute. Possibly.
Is it working now?
Yeah.
Okay. So
So I'm Mehdi Tibouchi, and together with Amir Moradi, we are the program chairs or the co-editors in chief of this year's chess. And so we're happy to be presenting the usual uh, um, boring reports with funny statistics. So, I mean, so that's the thing you've heard many times already. So this is the first time chess is run as a virtual event. As far as I'm concerned, I hope it's the last. But nevertheless, it's still the year in which we got the most submissions ever. We also got the most accepted papers ever. And so the last deadline among the 4 deadlines of this year's chess was a bit uh, let's say chaotic. So people were many of the authors were under lockdown or things like this, and so they a lot of them, I mean, some of them asked for a deadline extension, which was not granted. We could not really afford to extend the deadline because, of course, the review process is pretty tight. Um, but still, so I think everyone who asked for deadline extension still ended up submitting on time, and quite a few of them got accepted. So I think things worked out in the end. And we have one of the top attendance numbers ever as well. So I'm not sure if we're the top or second top, second most attendees. Maybe Yuval and Chichanok know. Um, so if we're not the top, we are within, I think, 10 or 20 registered registrations to the top. So, in case you don't know, so the chess works on a so-called hybrid publication model, which has been in place for 3 years now. So actually, so papers are published in a journal called the IACR Transactions on Cryptographic Hardware and Embedded Systems, so TCHESS, which is a gold open access journal, which means that it's free both for readers and submitters, and you can browse the entire archive online at that address. We publish 4 issues per volume, so per year, which correspond to 4 different deadlines at which you can submit your papers. The journal is published by Ruhr Universität Bochum under the supervision of Tim Gunesu. So basically, the schedule works like this. So there are 4 deadlines, and it works on a 3-month by 3-month schedule. So to submit in year N, you have 3 possible to be presented at the conference in year N, or correspond or be published in the volume of the journal corresponding to year N. You have 3 possible deadlines: one in July of year N-1, one in October, one in January, and one in April. And so roughly, when you submit for one issue, you get back reviews, first initial reviews about 1 month later, to which you can provide a rebuttal. And so you get a final decision 2 months after submission. And so you have to submit your final version of the paper. So 3 months after your submission. So there is a pretty fast turnaround. So the review process is carried out by the editorial board, which is what for a conference would correspond to a program committee, led by 2 co-editors in chief. So the program chairs, so Amir and I this year. And so typically one is chosen from academia and the other one from industry. So I'm the industry guy this year. so as you've seen, so basically there are three phases. One is the review phases, which is about a month, during which you get initial reviews are submitted by the committee members. So this is those initial reviews are sent back for rebuttal, and so you can, if as a submitter, you can comment on those reviews. You have about one week to to do that, and after that, based on your comments and the all reviews for each paper, there is a discussion phase again for about 1 month until the final decisions. And so there are four possible decisions that each paper can get. So accept, in which case you can publish the paper in the initial form. So minor revision, which is a kind of conditional acceptance. So there are very small changes that the reviewers are requesting, and they will check. Shepherd will check if those changes are indeed made. Major revision, which means that your paper is not going to be published in the next issue, but possibly in a later issue. So you have either three or you can resubmit either to the next or to the second next deadline, and you have to follow a certain specified list of changes. And so if those changes are implemented and no other technical problem is discovered, your paper should be accepted. And so the final decision is reject. And so it's possible that reject comes with an encouragement to resubmit. So that's a bit different from major revision, because major revisions come with the specific list of changes, whereas encouragement to resubmit does not. So it will be your paper is basically reviewed afresh. So our editorial board this year was 56 members strong, including the two chairs. So it's a bit more than 1/3 industry and less than 2/3 academia. So Europe is still the major country, but then it's about half and half between Asia Pacific and the Americas. So US and Latin American, US, Canada, and Latin American countries. We have tried to, so we're still a bit far from reaching a balance between genders. But we did some progress. So I guess we have 1% more number of female committee members compared to last year. It will take time, but maybe going forward. And so we also have tried to reach a balance in terms of seniority of the members. So there are both younger people who are within maybe 5 years of their PhD, and much more senior people who are like maybe 15 years and more. So the program included two keynote talks by Jan Kapkun, and which was on Monday, and Stefan Dziembowski, who will be speaking tomorrow. There are 12 technical sessions. So during the virtual event, it's just short live talks plus Q&A. And you can watch the long talks on YouTube. In case you didn't notice. And so there's a total of 60 presentations in total for 60 accepted papers. So there's one Rump session, which you're watching, and a new event this year, the Ask Me Anything sessions, in which senior outstanding researchers accept to be asked any questions from the audience. So that's entirely organized by the general chairs, and I think it has been a resounding success so far. So please don't miss the next installments starting from tomorrow. So statistics now. So the issue statistics. So the number of submissions was fairly even among the different issues. So as usual, the first issue had a bit less. The last issue had the most, even though this was right in the middle of the lockdown for many people. Um, and I mean, acceptance rate vary somewhat, but not much per issue. So there were quite a few minor revision decisions, but all those minor revisions, so conditional accepts, were subsequently accepted. So at the same issue. So usually when you get a minor revision decision, it's encouraging. So the acceptance rate for overall was around 26%, I think. It was a bit more for long papers of more than 20 pages. It was still a bit more for papers who have a PC member co-author, not because we are favoring them. Actually, they get more reviews and stricter process, but probably because we have an excellent committee. And finally, around 2/3 of major revision eventually get accepted. So if you count the number of authors per submission, so 3 author papers are the most common, both in submission acceptance. But as you can see, the acceptance rate for the number of, depending on the number of authors, varies a lot. So your optimal choice is 8 authors. And as you can see, also the parity of the number of authors seems to play a critical role in your probability of being accepted. So it's a lot. It seems to be much better to submit with an even number of authors than an odd one. So there's an interesting DPA attack that seems to be possible there. So time of first submission, so the graph represents for all issues combined the number of hours, so the total number of submitted papers up until this number of hours prior to the deadline. So as you can see, like about half of the papers were submitted within the last 8 hours before the deadlines. And the latest submitted papers was actually 15 seconds before the deadline, but it was rejected. But the second latest was accepted when submitted first, 56 seconds before the deadline. And so, as you can see, your optimal chance of getting accepted is to submit roughly within 3 hours of the deadline. So that's the first submission, not revisions. But if you're going to submit very close, then you absolutely should avoid submitting between 20 and 60 minutes before the deadline, and actually submit less than 20 minutes before the deadline, as you can see. That's your second best option. So here's a short picture of the titles of the papers. So that's a word cloud for this. And so from that, you can deduce that a typical submission title would be automated Trojan masking using AES white box. These are the accepted paper, which are a bit different. So a typical title would be FPGA attacks on lattice-based block ciphers. Would be an excellent paper with a high chance of being accepted, probably. So we have many acknowledgements. So we'd like to thank the authors of all 224 submissions. We'd like to acknowledge the members of the editorial board and also the external reviewers on which they sometimes relied, although most of the reviews are actually done by the editorial board members themselves. We'd like to thank the managing editor, Tim Gunesu, and also his assistants at Bochum. We'd like to address our thanks to Kevin McCurley and Kay McKelly, without whom this virtual event could not have been run. The general chairs, thank you very much. The general chairs, so of course the event was set to be held in China with Chinese general chairs, but this could not be done. So new general chairs for the virtual event had to step in after COVID. And so Chichanok and Yuval kindly accepted, and this was tremendously helpful as well. The Rump Session chair accepted, even though we asked pretty late in the process. The invited speakers, of course, all session chairs, the speakers from Ask Me Anything, and the moderators for these sessions as well, who are senior researchers, and all attendees. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, Maddie, for the nice overview. Then the next item on the program is, well, again, either Amir or Maddie, I'm not sure who will do it, with the Best Paper Award ceremony.
So Amir is going to share.
You should be able to see my screen already, right? Oops.
I can see.
You can see that, right? Good.
Yes.
Thank you. We reached the Best Paper Award ceremony. For those who are not aware of this process, I just explained shortly that we have one distinguished paper in the whole program. You are already aware of this. Yeah, this is not secret. This is done actually like this, that the co-editors-in-chief, or let's say the co-chairs of the program committee, means that Mehdi and myself, we pre-selected a few papers through the entire accepted papers, of course, particularly those which received very well and very good scores. And we asked the editorial board members, or again, let's say program committee members, to vote on these choices. Of course, using a range voting means that they had some points to distribute to the papers or to these choices. And then one of the papers, one of these choices have been selected as the best paper. And the selected paper actually won by a significant margin, I should say. As you know, the best paper is awarded to Jan Jansa, Vladimir Sedlasek, Peter Schwenda, and Marek Sis for the paper Minerva, the course of ECDSA nonsense. Congratulations.
So thank you very much. I don't know whether you can hear us. We do have the...
So maybe, Amir, you want to stop sharing so that we can watch?
Yes. Stop sharing, and we should be able to see the video. Very good.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay. I hope that I could pronounce your name correctly. I spent pretty much time on Google Translator and added your name with all these signs at the top of the alphabets that I'm not aware of. And I tried to ask Google Translate, this is a Czech actually pronunciation, and then try to learn how to pronounce your names. I hope it was close to what it should be.
It was almost perfect. Yeah. Except for the fact that we are from Czechoslovakia, because there are half people from Czech Republic, second half from Slovakia, and it used to be one country, but it's not anymore. So, but almost perfect pronunciation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Congratulations one more time.
Thank you. And bye.
Okay, then we go on to some more awards, this time awarded by Benedict. You can share your screen if you want.
Try to. Can you see this?
Yes.
Yes.
normal presentation mode. All right, looks good. Excellent. Yes. Okay, so this is the award ceremony. My name is Benedikt Gielis. I'm the chairman of the chess steering committee, and this is the moment during chess, and it's always been held during the Rump session, where we'll basically thank all the people involved in the organization. So as you all know or can imagine, there's a lot of time and energy and dedication that goes into actually making a conference like this one a successful event. Some of the many people involved have worked for this chess conference since the beginning of 2019, or maybe even earlier. Others volunteered much later, as Amir Mehdi already said, when of course the pandemic struck us, and we suddenly had to switch from the well ahead planned physical conference in Beijing to this new virtual format that's entirely new to all of us, and had little experience. And some more people began contributing even much more recently by, for example, helping us out as session chairs, like also Christine for this particular session. So as I said, this is the moment where we basically want to thank all of the people who contributed to this special CHESS 2020 conference and recognize their efforts. So in particular, I would like to mention a few key persons and take them out, without whom the conference would not have been possible at all. And in the normal physical conference, I do that by asking these people to come to the front of the stage, in front of the lecture hall, and I would hand them over a certificate in person. But this year we have to do this in the virtual setting, and the real certificates will be mailed later to these people. So without no further ado, I would like to start by handing out this award to Cichanok. The award says, the International Association for Cryptologic Research gratefully acknowledges Cichanok for her contribution to the worldwide community on cryptographic hardware and embedded systems through her role as General Chair of CHESS 2020. I don't know if Cichanok's here. If she's here, maybe she can share her video for a moment, just show her face.
Yes, I'm here.
Can you switch it? I don't know if it, can you show yourself for a moment, just?
Yes.
Show us a big smile.
Hi. Thank you.
Okay. Next up is then Yuval, of course. So again, the certificate reads, the International Association for Cryptologic Research gratefully acknowledges Yuval for his contribution to the worldwide community on cryptographic hardware and embedded systems through his role as General Chair of CHESS 2020. As you all know, as Ami explained, basically Yuval and Cichanok volunteered themselves a couple of months ago to take over the organization of this conference when it became clear that we have to switch over from the physical conference in Beijing to the virtual event that we have now. Yuval, are you here? Can you show yourself for a moment?
Many thanks. Been a pleasure to work with everyone.
Excellent. Good, I move on. There are, of course, also the program co-chairs, or editors-in-chief, as they're called nowadays, who have done a huge load of work in getting papers submitted, have them reviewed, coordinate discussions, and finally come to a decision on which papers should be accepted to this conference. So also here, the International Association for Cryptologic Research gratefully acknowledges Amir for his contribution to the worldwide community on cryptographic hardware and embedded systems through his role as program chair of CHESS 2020. Thank you, Amir.
Thank you so much.
Likewise, Mehdi, the International Association for Cryptologic Research gratefully acknowledges Mehdi for his contribution to the worldwide community on cryptographic hardware and embedded systems through his role as program chair of CHESS 2020. Thank you, Mehdi. Are you here?
Thank you very much.
With a big smile. Yes, there he is. Okay, and now comes something that's is a bit unique. I've never done this before, so we give 2 more of these certificates to Kevin McCurley and Kay McKelly, who basically push the entire virtual conference. They figured out how we should actually hold this conference, which kind of virtual meeting platform we should be using. They make sure that all of this stuff works. They're here all the time.
2 minutes.
They're always in the background, making sure that everything goes smooth. And so here it goes. The International Association for Cryptologic Research gratefully acknowledges Kay for her contribution to the worldwide community on cryptographic hardware and embedded systems through her role as virtual conference chair of CHESS 2020. Kay, can you show yourself a moment? Give us a smile.
Yes, my morning hair. Thank you guys
Excellent.
so much.
Thanks for being awake at this hour.
Yes.
And likewise to Kevin, the International Association for Cryptologic Research gratefully acknowledges Kevin for his contribution to the worldwide community on cryptographic hardware and embedded systems through his role as virtual conference chair of CHESS 2020. And I'm not sure if Kevin's here. I haven't seen him at the beginning of the Rump session.
He is definitely not awake yet.
All right, fair enough. I can fully understand that he was here 6 hours ago, so I'm not surprised he's not here right now. So you'll show him the video later. It's going to be recorded, right?
Yes, I will.
Okay, excellent. So that's basically all I have to say at this point, Christine.
Time.
Okay, thanks, Benedict. Then I give the word back to you for the Test of Time Award.
Yeah, just give me like 10 seconds to switch what I have to.
Okay, Ale, can you add 10
Tell a
seconds?
joke or something.
10 seconds, okay.
All right. So now this is, you see my screen, right?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, so this is the Test of Time Award ceremony of CHESS 2020. Again, it's me, Benedict. So let me first say a few words about the award. So the CHESS Test of Time Award is a new award. It will be given yearly from now on. This year is the first year that we give it. And the award is to honor a paper with lasting impact on the field with respect both to academia and or industry. The paper to be honored will be selected from a window of papers published at CHESS from 21 to 19 years ago. So,
Benedict, sorry to interrupt, but somehow your share is half green.
My share is what?
Your shared screen is not fully sharing well. I'm not sure
Okay.
whether it's the case for everyone.
Okay, I'm gonna stop
No, it
sharing.
was half.
Share again.
Half of your screen was green.
Not from what I see. I'll start to share again. Let's see what happens. How is this?
There is less green now. I think we can work with it.
There's less green, but there's still some green there. Okay, that's very strange.
Yeah, but now it's like 10%. I think everything is on there.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so the award is given in year X to honor a paper that was published at CHESS in the years X-21 to X-19, meaning that this year we select papers from the range of CHESS 99 to CHESS 2001. Anyone is able to nominate papers, and then there is a selection committee that rotates on a yearly basis. 2 members of this committee are appointed by the CHESS Steering Committee, and these 2 members then invite 3 more members to make a committee of a total of 5. And these invited members should ideally be program committee chairs or members from the program committee from the respective years of CHESS. And it would also be always good to have someone from industry. If you want to see all the details, you can go to chessicr.org, Test of Time. There's also written how to nominate papers and so on. For this particular year, for the first time, the Test of Time Award Committee is composed of Helena Hanchu, Marc Joie, Christophe Parr, Pankaj Rohati, and myself as its chairman. And then without further ado, I want to actually give out the award. And so the first test of time award for this year for CHESS 2020 goes to Jean-Sébastien Coron and his paper, Resistance Against Differential Power Analysis for Elliptic Curve Crypto Systems, which was published at CHESS 1999. I don't know if you can see my mouse pointer or not, but anyhow, so there are the proceedings. You see the book. If you look at the LNCS number of that book, you see that it's really long time ago that that this paper was published. Now, to say a few words about the paper has several contributions. The first contribution is that the paper actually demonstrates the feasibility of DPA attacks on elliptic curve cryptography. And that was really a brand new thing. Recall this was 1999, yeah, DPA was just published. Specifically, the paper shows attacks on EC DP-Hellman key exchange and elliptic curve Elgamal encryption. Furthermore, and perhaps more importantly, the paper also introduces 3 countermeasures to protect ECC implementations against DPA attacks. And these are randomization of the private scalar, or better known as scalar blinding, point blinding, and the use of randomized projective coordinates. And if you read any ECC implementation paper today about secure implementations, I mean, these terms, they come all the time. The paper currently has 1,215 citations, and these are not citations that date already back a few years and so on. If you actually look at the number of citations over years, you see that it's continuously cited a lot still this year and probably for the future to come. This demonstrates a strong impact on the chess community and probably also beyond. However, at this point, I want to make sure to explain that the committee doesn't simply select papers based on the citation count. Because
Benedict,
that's only...
maybe you can go out of full screen since half the screen is green again.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. This is very strange. How does that look?
Yeah, this is fine.
It's better. Okay, maybe it's because I have 2 monitors here. Okay. Anyhow, so we don't simply select papers based on citation count because that only shows a small part of the game. So rest assured, we do more than that. Since ECC is used everywhere today, the importance of design and analysis of secure ECC implementations is obvious, which also, of course, underlines the importance or relevance of the paper. It's quite hard in our field in general to see what kind of impact a paper has on industry, because in many cases, industry keeps quiet about what exactly they do in their products. However, we were able to see that this particular paper is actually referenced in 58 patents, according to Google Patents, which at least puts a little bit of light on the impact of this paper on IP generation. And these are some of the reasons why eventually this paper was selected for the award. And now I would like to give the floor to Jean-Sébastien. Are you here?
Yes. So thank you very much, Benedict, for this award. It's a great honor. And yes, so when I submitted this paper, I was a young PhD student. So I would like to thank also my PhD advisor at this time, David Nakash, who encouraged me to write and submit this paper. So thank you, David. I don't know if David is here. And so thank you very much for this award. It's a great honor. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Christine, that's the end of my session.
Okay, thanks a lot, and congratulations to all awards winners. Then we go to the next, let's say, block of the Rump session, which is, let's say, announcements. And there we first have announcement by either Tony or Bojin. Is one of you online?
I'm online, I think.
You seem to be online. Yes, go ahead.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. Should I start sharing or what?
Go ahead.
okay, teaches me to try to trust Google Slides. I mean, it's simple. We are looking for postdocs, me and Tony Chu. We are at Academia Sinica in Taipei, Taiwan. Taiwan is a very nice place, and we are doing very well in the pandemic. And so, yeah, we have tall mountains, green fields, hot springs, lovely beaches, great food, nice people, and no COVID, or very little COVID. And implementer types are especially welcome, and our research interests are post-quantum crypto, cryptographic implementations, high assurance software, and some SCA. I think that's it.
Okay, thanks, Boyan. If you want to share the slide you made later, I think you can share it on Zulip. Then the next talk is by the UC Louvain group. I'm not sure.
How do I stop sharing?
Yes, you're sharing. Go ahead.
So, hello everybody. My name is Jayton and I've been part of the team that ran the Chess 2020 Capture the Flag contest. So I will tell you this contest in an illustrated DPA story. So first, there was the king, AES-GCM, in his crypto world that was training on the symmetric ciphers and symmetric authenticated encryption ciphers. Then came the NIST Herald that was looking for lightweight crypto ciphers that were resilient to sidechain analysis. And furthermore, he was also interested in single device threshold schemes. That's for chess people known as masking. And in this world, there were also many young ciphers, all of them at 4-bit S boxes, were quite easy to mask and they are lightweight key schedules. We'll follow one of them in his journey. This is the Clyde cipher that was as a little ghost in his town or in his corner, waiting for Pac-Man. And then he moved a bit further away in the graveyard of broken crypto. And there he found masks, tight private secret masks for software and hardware private secret masks for hardware. And with those masks, he went on. And he met a kind of strange guy who has random tools or oscilloscope tools to make t-tests, SNRs, higher order SNRs, and so kind of strange tests. And apparently, the little Clyde, with his many masks, was able to pass all of them. A few months later, in June, he met a flag, he catched it, and went on to go to chess. On his way, he went through and met with a big monster, the TKM adversary, that was coming from the BSI lab, and tried to attack the masks of Clyde. Actually, this TKM adversary succeeded, and he was able to break the 3 shares masks of Clyde using 4 dot traces and ranging the software key down to 2 to 32 rank, which made a brute force attack possible. So that was the first round, and Clyde was a bit lost. He waited for a month and actually picked a few more masks out of his box. Having done that, he made the second version of TKM that was a bit bigger and a bit stronger. And actually that one was able to break the software version of Clyde for the 3 shares, 4 shares, and 6 shares versions with quite reasonable number of traces and bring the key rank low enough to be brute forced. Clyde, a bit more lost, went on for a final month, took the last masks out of his box, and went back to TKM v3, who attacked the 8 shares versions. Actually, after a very long fight, he succeeded, 70,000 traces, and the masks were off. The key was attacked, but it took a very long time and a lot of RAM, which was actually about 30% over the limit given by the contest. So although this attack was very interesting and was able to break a masking scheme as quite high order, this was not counted as marks for the contest, since it was a bit out of time for the rules. But nevertheless, this TKM adversary was extremely strong and very interesting. So congratulations to the BSI team who managed to build this strong adversary. They will be awarded some Belgian food, but also a chip shouter device provided by the very nice sponsor, New AE. Thanks to them for sponsoring this contest. I would also like to thank the chess organizers, and in particular Mathieu Rivin for his help in organizing the CTF challenge for this year. So this concludes the first year of the story for Clyde. The second year of story for the little Clyde endeavor begins now. And actually, we had two targets, the software one and the hardware one. Since only the BSI team submitted attacks and they only targeted the software, the hardware is still untouched. So you are welcome to submit new attacks. We have 2, 3, and 4 shares versions, up to your pleasure to attack them. We welcome any submission. So the next deadline we will evaluate the ciphers is 1st of December, and then there will be a deadline every 2 months. So you are very welcome to look on our website if you find information missing or if you need help with the setup. Don't hesitate to contact us. We have a quite large corpus of traces that are still available, and even if you want to attack the software contest, you are still welcome to do so. We'll not award point anymore for the new contest, but we will still evaluate the attack, and we think it can be an interesting target or benchmark for future publication in the field. So thank you for your attention.
Thanks for that very nice story about masks. Then the next talk is by Chris, Colin, and Dom on OpenTitan and Chip Whisperer. Can one of you share their screen? Yeah.
Yep, should be up. Does it look good?
Yeah.
We good? Can you hear me?
Visible. Yes.
Fantastic. All right, so I'm Dom Rizzo. I'm going to be talking for all of us today. So I'm going to talk just really briefly about OpenTitan and Chip Whisperer. So for those who don't know, OpenTitan is the, so I run the OpenTitan project. I'm employed by Google. So OpenTitan, if you haven't heard of it, we have a lovely website, opentitan.org. It is the first open source Silicon root of trust project that we are aware of. I would love for someone to contradict that so we can have points of comparison. We're really animated by 3 principles: transparency, quality, and being community driven. We have a lovely set of partners. The project itself is housed under the low risk organization. We work closely with ETH Zurich, GND, obviously Google. Nubaton is our takeout partner, and Seagate and Western Digital have been participating very enthusiastically from the very beginning. So obviously we strongly believe in transparency, being open source in both our RTL, DB, software framework, testing, just about anywhere we can be. So we really want to encourage inspection and analysis. We have a pretty strict set of quality standards for inclusion into the project. Quality and security tend to be coupled together pretty effectively. So we really do enforce standards around documentation, interfaces, contributions, things like that. And obviously we have a large community who is collaborating and participating in the project. So Chip Whisperer, I think most everyone on this call knows who they are. They build these cost-effective tool chains for SCA and fault injection. They are also focused on openness, integration, and usability. So there's a obvious pairing between them and OpenTitan. And we're actually working very closely with them today to analyze the design as it exists in the FPGA form. So obviously we both value openness and transparency. So we wanted to, let's say, peanut butter and jelly, put those two things together and make something better. We have added support for the CW305 into our main repository. We're happy to report that UAE has broken our unprotected AES implementation in a reasonable number of traces. So we have a, everything works as intended. We have a baseline to work against. The repo already contains the IBEX RV32 processor, which is an evolution of one of Luca's group's, I forget what they used to be called, RISC-V processors. We have AES in there, SHA-3. We have a big num accelerator, which is under a very active development, as well as support for multiple FPGA targets. So, other than the typical you break it, you buy it, we tend to take the view that you break it, we appreciate it, and we want to hear from you, and we want to work with you. We really believe that OpenTitan is a pretty solid platform for research evaluation. I believe there's actually a paper or talk either already happened or later today with Christoph Parr's group, who used OpenTitan, the OpenTitan design, as one of their evaluation targets. And I know of a number of other folks doing that as well this year. And we are very strongly supportive of collaborations. So, go ahead, visit either the website to find out more information, but also we would strongly encourage, if you have interest in using this as a research platform, or if you want to take a swag at cracking it open, please email us, get actively involved. We're happy to provide support and commentary and do whatever we can to make this a more secure, more effective design. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Don. Very nice talk. Then we are exactly on time. Very well done, Ali. Going on to the third block of talks, which are very important chess-worthy results. And we're gonna start with Gora, Jesus Javier, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, and Francisco. Could one of you share the screen?
Yeah. Can you see the screen now? Hi?
Not yet, just seeing you for now.
Oh, just a sec. Sure. Yeah, now you can see.
Yes, that works. Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you. Hi, everyone. I would like to present today a work that was recently submitted to the ePrint archive. The title is On the Velouz Formula and its application to C-side and B-side constant time implementations. This is a joint work by Gora H, Jesus Javier Chi Dominguez, and myself. So this work deals with the computation of degree L isogenies using Velouz formulas. If you use Velouz formulas, you need three main building blocks. One of them is called KPS, shown in the left. If you are going to compute degree L isogenies, the cost of this block is 3L approximately, and it computes this kernel subgroup. Then you have two functions. One of them is called xisog and xeval. The first one computes the image curve, and the second one computes the image of a point that belongs to the codomain curve. The overall cost of traditional Velouz formulas is 6L for degree L isogenies. Recently, it was presented by Bernstein, DeFeo, Leroux, and Smith in ANTS 2020, a new approach that has an O tilde square root L complexity computation for the same problem. The authors were able to speed up this computation remarkably via a baby step, giant step method. In our case, we were trying to implement this and come out with a concrete analysis of the complexity of this operation that we called square root Velouz, as shown here. The most important building blocks that you need to for compute this is to compute four resultants of two polynomials of the form FG that belong to this polynomial ring. And those resultants can be efficiently computed using a remainder tree approach supported by carefully tailored Karatsuba polynomial multiplications. In practice, we've shown that the concrete computational cost of value squared is close to a constant times the square root of L raised to log 2(3). This log 2(3) parameter comes from the Karatsuba polynomial multiplications. I should emphasize that value squared is highly parallelizable, and we are still analyzing this, but we expect to have an extra saving of around 35% if you consider a two-core implementation, which is still on the making. You can find all the details in the ePrint archive. I just want to show here a graph that establishes that the cost of the computation of value squared is more or less 39 times the square root of L minus 1/2 raised to this power. The impact in isogeny-based protocols can be shown here. If you think about psych for the prime 434, it takes about 22 megacycles, millions of cycles. In our case, we were able to implement C-site at a cost of 223 million clock cycles. And B-site, for the first time, is the very first implementation ever of this protocol. It took us 119 clock cycles. So this is all what I wanted to say to you guys, and thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Francisco. Then we have the second to last talk by Colin, Glitching Your Nostalgia. Colin, if you could share your screen. Yes, that's very visible.
All right, thank you, everyone. Hopefully you're enjoying the Rump session. So it's 11 a.m. here and the wine's almost empty. So this is, a normal Rump session. I want to talk to you about something kind of dumb I did that you can also do something dumb. So let's take it back to 2000 when we had Windows Me, the greatest operating system around. And let's go ahead and start this talk. And all the startup stuff. Okay. In Office 2000, of course. Get the Rump session talk up. Oops, come on. Oh, there, okay, there's our friend Clippy helping us out. All right, glitching your nostalgia. So if you ask what is 2000, you ask the internet what was cool in 2000, you're going to come up with a bunch of BuzzFeed articles about what's cool in 2000. And you're going to get frosted tips on Justin Timberlake. You're going to get the Harry Potter books, the Walkman, and more NSYNC, NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, whatever. We could argue about that all day. But that's not what Ches thinks about 2000. So you probably think about 2000, if you're in Canada, like the glory days of smart card hacking. You probably think about the Ches Test of Time Award, for example, or like really cool work showing unsecure devices and how easily they could be broken with voltage glitching. So I have a new thing called Chip Jabber Unplugged, and you can build it yourself. It's all through hole. There's 2 surface mount parts because it made it easier, but you don't actually need them. And it lets you do voltage glitching with a DIY build it yourself board. So hopefully you can see these now, right? You've got knobs you can twiddle, you can play with it, you can glitch devices, and you can do it all as if we're back in 2000 having fun. And actually some recent devices you can break with this too. So yeah, that's all I wanted to share with you. Was kind of a dumb thing that you can also do yourself.
Okay, thank you very much. Short, but for sure very nostalgic. I think I'm on the Backstreet Boys camp. Then we continue to the last talk, which is a proposition for a new type of asymmetric algorithm presented by co-chair Gustavo as well as Pedro. You can go ahead.
Okay, I think it's the only amazing talk about nothing related with crypto, besides the title, which basically it's Tacos El Pastor. And the main reason is if you go to the chat on the IRCR, there was this nice discussion about tacos and, well, pineapples and everything else. So Pedro and I, we just decided to, why not teach people how to do tacos? So you might need a rotisserie or something like in Portuguese, we call this like the TV for dogs. And then here is the recipe, in fact. So you just needed to hydrate it, your peppers, blend with vinegar, pineapple juice, and anchovy paste. Season the pork if you like pork, of course, then it's not the original, and marinate it overnight. And the next day, you just remove the pork and then you do like nice skewers with pineapple, meat, onions, and more meat. Cook, and then you cut it small pieces. And here comes the nice trick. So you pick up a symmetric soft tortilla, put the meat on top, perfect round onion rings, pineapple, cilantro, and a touch of lime. And then, I mean, you have your taco. So even this, we also think, what is the next for tacos and chess? Why not like having talks with tacos, maybe a tacos competition, or like even like a tacos special workshop, or maybe in the next, even being China, maybe in the next chess, why we don't have like a booth of tacos? So I think this is exactly what I wanted to say. And yeah, it's not related to crypto at all, but thank you.
You actually have a question in chat, Gustavo. So Elena is asking what the, okay, I'm taking a guess at pronunciation here. Achiote paste is made of.
The last thing, it's Kai already just answered for me, so that.
Okay,
Thank
good.
you. So someone is interested in doing tacos. So now I think a lot of people in the chat, they're like, I wanted to craving for tacos. So now you can do it.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much for the taco talk. So that was it for all the talks of the Rump session. There are a few things left. So one, of course, we'll be back next year, maybe actually in Beijing, maybe actually in physical form. Then there is another social session after this, and you should all definitely join. There are multiple reasons to join. One, the reason people bite because they're scary doesn't hold online, so people can't actually bite because you are behind your laptop. Two, Gustavo and Pedro will be there, so if you have more questions about pineapple or tacos, you can definitely ask it there. Yeah, so please join. And then as a very last thing, Benedict reminded me that we had some science to do.
Yes.
Which as a very last thing, will give the word to Benedict.
Yeah, so we discussed this earlier with Kay, and I ultimately decided to push this to the end of the session. So I wanted to invite everybody basically to, when I finish talking, please unmute yourself and just give a warm round of applause to all the organizers of chess, speakers of all the sessions, session chairs, and so on. So please now all unmute yourselves, and then let's see if it breaks.
Bravo.
Okay, that wasn't too bad. It didn't break. So let's all rejoin at the join the party button on the schedule. And thanks all for joining, and see you next time.
Before we leave, be sure to visit our sponsors. If you want to get these official Chess 2020 shirts, this is going to be a collector's item because there are not many of those, and we only give those to people who visit sponsors. So it's not guaranteed, but if you don't visit the sponsors and if you don't talk to sponsors, you are not getting one. See you.
Thank you, Val. Okay, bye-bye.